The rain was coming down hard that December evening, making everything look blurry through the big windows of Central Station. Lisa checked her phone for the third time in 5 minutes. Platform 7. Train departing at 8:15 p.m. She had exactly 12 minutes to get there. Her heart was racing as she clutched the ticket in her hand. This small piece of paper had cost her 3 months of saving, cutting back on everything she could think of. No coffee shop visits, no new clothes. She had even walked to work most days instead of taking the bus, but it was worth it. Her mom needed her. The phone call from yesterday still echoed in her mind. Her mom's voice had sounded so weak, so tired. The doctors said it wasn't anything immediately dangerous, but Lisa knew better. Her mom was the type who never complained, never asked for help. If she was asking Lisa to come home, things must be serious. Lisa hurried through the crowded station, her old backpack bouncing against her shoulders. The holiday season had turned the station into chaos. Families everywhere, kids running around, people hugging, saying goodbyes. She dodged around a group taking selfies and nearly bumped into someone's luggage. That's when she heard it. A child crying. Not the normal fussy kind of crying, but the exhausted, heartbroken sobbing that makes everyone around stop and look. Lisa glanced over and saw a little girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old, sitting on a bench near the ticket counter. Her face was pale, almost gray, and she was clutching a worn teddy bear like it was the only thing keeping her together. Standing next to her was a man in a wrinkled business suit, his tie loose around his neck, running his hands through his hair in frustration. Lisa should have kept walking. She had a train to catch, but something made her slow down, made her watch. The man was talking to the ticket agent, and even from a distance, Lisa could tell the conversation wasn't going well. The agent kept shaking her head, pointing at her computer screen, her face showing that mix of sympathy and helplessness that customer service people get when they can't fix a problem. "I understand, sir, but we're completely sold out," the agent was saying as Lisa got closer. "The holidays, you know. Everything's been booked for weeks. The next available train isn't until tomorrow afternoon." "You don't understand," the man said, and Lisa could hear the desperation in his voice. "My daughter just got released from the hospital. We have to get home tonight. She has an appointment first thing in the morning, and if we miss it..." He trailed off, glancing down at the little girl. She had stopped crying but was now just staring at nothing, her eyes empty and tired. Lisa noticed the hospital bracelet still on her tiny wrist. "I'm sorry, sir. I really am. But there's nothing I can do. Every seat is taken." The man pulled out his wallet. "I'll pay double, triple, whatever it takes, please." The agent looked genuinely sorry now. "It's not about money, sir. There are no seats left. The train is full." Lisa watched as the man's shoulders slumped. He turned away from the counter and knelt down next to his daughter. "It's okay, sweetie," he said softly, though his voice cracked. "We'll figure something out. Maybe we can find a hotel nearby and..." "I want to go home, Daddy," the little girl whispered. "I'm so tired." "You promised we could sleep in my own bed tonight." "I know, baby. I know." Lisa felt her throat tighten. She looked down at the ticket in her hand. The ticket she had worked so hard for. The ticket that would take her to her mom. But her mom was sick, not critically ill. Her mom had a house, a warm bed, neighbors who could check on her. This little girl looked like she could barely sit up straight. This father looked like he was holding on by a thread. Lisa's feet moved before her brain could catch up. She walked over to them, her heart pounding so hard she thought everyone could hear it. "Excuse me," she said quietly. The man looked up, confused. Up close, Lisa could see the dark circles under his eyes, the worry lines around his mouth. This was someone who hadn't slept properly in days, maybe weeks. "I'm sorry to interrupt," Lisa continued, "but I couldn't help overhearing. You need to get on the 8:15 train." The man nodded, standing up. "Yes, but it's sold out. We'll manage somehow. Thank you for your concern." Lisa took a deep breath. Her hand was shaking as she held out her ticket. "Take mine." For a moment, nobody spoke. The man just stared at the ticket, then at Lisa like he didn't understand what was happening. "What?" he finally said. "Take my ticket," Lisa repeated. "You need it more than I do." I can't possibly," the man stammered. The little girl had looked up now, a tiny spark of hope in her tired eyes. Lisa smiled at her, then looked back at the father. "Your daughter needs to get home. I heard what you said about the hospital, about the appointment. It's okay. I can take a later train." But the agent just said there are no trains until tomorrow afternoon, the man said, still looking completely bewildered. Lisa shrugged, trying to look more casual than she felt. Then I'll take that one. It's fine, really. I'll pay you, the man said quickly, reaching for his wallet again. Whatever the ticket costs, double it, triple it. Name your price. No, Lisa said firmly. She pressed the ticket into his hand. No money, just get your little girl home safely. That's enough. The man's eyes were getting wet. I don't even know your name. It doesn't matter, Lisa said. She bent down to look at the little girl. What's your name, sweetie? Rachel, the girl whispered. Hi, Rachel. I love your teddy bear. Does he have a name? Mr. Buttons, that's a perfect name. Lisa straightened up. You two should go. The train leaves in 8 minutes. Don't miss it because of me. The man was still staring at her like she was some kind of angel who had appeared out of nowhere. I don't know what to say. Thank you doesn't seem like enough. It's plenty, Lisa said. Now go. The man picked up Rachel, who wrapped her thin arms around his neck. He looked at Lisa one more time, his mouth opening like he wanted to say something else, but then he just nodded. Thank you, he said again, his voice thick with emotion. Thank you so much. Lisa watched them hurry toward platform 7. Rachel lifted her head from her father's shoulder and gave Lisa a small wave. Lisa waved back, smiling even though her eyes were starting to burn with tears. The announcement came over the speakers. Last call for the 8:15 departure to Riverside. All aboard. Lisa stood there watching until they disappeared into the crowd. Then she looked around the station. It seemed bigger now, emptier somehow, even though it was still packed with people. She had nowhere to go. No hotel money, no backup plan. She pulled out her phone and called her mom. Hi, Mom, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. About tomorrow. I'm going to be a day late. Her mom's voice came through the phone, weak but concerned. A day late? Honey, what happened? Are you okay? Lisa found a quiet corner near a closed coffee shop and sat down on the cold floor, her back against the wall. I'm fine, Mom. I gave my ticket to someone who needed it more. There was a pause. What do you mean you gave your ticket away? So Lisa told her. About the little girl who looked so sick and tired. About the father who was trying so hard to hold it together. About the hospital bracelet and the important appointment they couldn't miss. When she finished, her mom was quiet for a long moment. Then she heard something that made her heart break a little more. Her mom was crying. Mom, don't cry. I'm okay. I'll get there tomorrow, I promise. I'm not crying because I'm upset with you, her mom said, her voice shaky. I'm crying because I'm proud, so proud. That's my girl. Lisa felt tears rolling down her own cheeks now. I wanted to be there tonight. I know, sweetie. But you did the right thing. That little girl needed you more than I do right now. I'll be fine one more day. You just stay safe tonight, okay? Find somewhere warm to wait. After they hung up, Lisa looked around the station. It was 8:30 now. The big departure board showed the next train to Riverside was at 2:45 p.m. tomorrow. Almost 18 hours away, she checked her wallet. $43 and some change. That was everything she had until her next paycheck, which wasn't for another week. She had planned this trip down to the last penny, and giving away that ticket had pretty much wiped out her backup fund. The station had a few benches in the waiting area, but they were already filling up with other stranded travelers. A family with 3 kids had claimed one whole bench. An elderly couple was sleeping on another, their coats bundled up as pillows. A young guy with headphones was sprawled across a third. Lisa found an empty spot against the wall near the bathrooms. It wasn't ideal, but at least it was indoors and warm. She pulled her jacket tighter around herself and tried to get comfortable on the hard floor. The first hour wasn't too bad. She scrolled through her phone, reading articles, watching videos, anything to pass the time. But her phone battery was draining fast and she didn't have a charger. By 10 p.m. she had to turn it off to save what little power was left for emergencies. The station was quieter now. Most of the trains had stopped running. The shops and restaurants had closed, their metal gates pulled down. Only the fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting everything in a harsh, cold glow. Lisa's stomach growled. She hadn't eaten since lunch, and that had just been a small sandwich. She counted her money again. If she spent anything on food tonight, she might not have enough for the train ticket tomorrow. The ticket agent had said there were seats available on the afternoon train, but Lisa needed to make sure she could actually afford one. She decided to wait. She could handle being hungry for one night. Around 11 p.m., a security guard walked by. He was an older man with kind eyes and a slight limp. He stopped when he saw Lisa sitting on the floor. "You okay, miss?" he asked. "Yes, sir. Just waiting for tomorrow's train." He nodded slowly, like he'd heard that story before. "Gets cold in here at night. They turn down the heat after midnight to save money." He paused, then added, "There's a vending machine around the corner that still works, and the bathrooms stay open all night." "Thank you," Lisa said. He started to walk away, then turned back. "You did a good thing today." Lisa looked up, surprised. "What? I saw what you did. Giving your ticket to that man and his little girl?" He smiled. "Not many people would do that. You take care of yourself, okay?" Before Lisa could respond, he was gone, continuing his rounds through the empty station. The words stayed with her, though. She hadn't realized anyone else had noticed. It made her feel a little less alone. By midnight, Lisa was really feeling the cold. The security guard had been right. The temperature had dropped and her thin jacket wasn't enough. She pulled her backpack close and tried to use it as a pillow, but every position felt uncomfortable. She watched other people in the station. The family with the kids had managed to settle down, the children sleeping in a pile while their parents took turns keeping watch. The elderly couple was snoring softly, somehow peaceful despite the uncomfortable bench. The young guy with headphones hadn't moved in hours. Lisa wondered about their stories. Were they stranded too, or was this just a normal layover for them? She'd never spent a night in a train station before. She'd never really had to think about where she would sleep, what she would eat. She'd always had a roof over her head, even if it was just her tiny apartment. This was what it felt like to have nothing, to be completely vulnerable. Around 2 a.m., exhaustion finally won. Lisa dozed off, her head resting on her backpack, her arms wrapped around herself for warmth. She didn't sleep deeply. Every sound woke her up. Footsteps, announcements, the rumble of a freight train passing through. She dreamed about the little girl, Rachel. In the dream, Rachel was running through a field, healthy and happy, her teddy bear flying behind her like a cape. The father was there too, laughing, chasing after her. They looked so peaceful, so whole. Lisa woke up at 5 a.m. to the sound of the station coming back to life. Shops were opening their metal gates. The smell of fresh coffee drifted through the air, making her stomach ache with hunger. People in business suits hurried past, focused on catching their morning trains. She stood up slowly, her whole body stiff and sore. Her neck hurt from the awkward angle she'd been sleeping at. Her back was killing her. She felt dirty and rumpled, like everyone could tell she'd spent the night on the floor. In the bathroom, she splashed cold water on her face and tried to make herself look presentable. The mirror showed dark circles under her eyes and her hair was a mess, but there wasn't much she could do about it. She checked her phone. One message from her mom sent at 6 a.m. "Good morning, sweetheart. Hope you got some rest. Love you." Lisa smiled despite everything and typed back, "Love you too. See you this afternoon." The morning dragged on. Lisa found a bench that had opened up and sat there watching people come and go. Families excited about trips, business people rushing to meetings, students heading home for the holidays. She was so hungry now it hurt. Finally, at 11 a.m. she gave in. She went to the vending machine the security guard had mentioned and bought a granola bar and a bottle of water. $3.50. She ate slowly, trying to make it last. At 1 p.m. she went to the ticket counter. A different agent was working now, a younger woman with bright red lipstick. "One ticket to Riverside, please. The 2:45 train. That'll be $42. Lisa handed over almost all her remaining money. The agent printed the ticket and passed it across the counter. "Have a nice trip," she said automatically. Lisa took the ticket and held it tight. This time she was getting on that train. This time she was going home. As she walked toward the platform, she thought about the father and Rachel. She hoped they'd made it home safely. She hoped Rachel's appointment had gone well. She would probably never know, and that was okay. Sometimes you do something good just because it's right, not because you'll get anything back. Platform 7 was crowded when she arrived. Lisa found a spot to stand and wait, her backpack heavy on her shoulders. Just 45 more minutes. Then she could finally rest. 3 weeks had passed since that night at the train station. Lisa had almost forgotten about it, or at least she tried to. Life had a way of moving forward whether you were ready or not. She'd spent 5 days with her mom, helping around the house, cooking meals, making sure she took her medicine on time. Her mom was doing better, getting stronger each day. That made everything worth it. The cold night on the station floor, the hunger, the exhaustion, all worth it. Now Lisa was back in her small apartment, back to her routine. Wake up, go to her job at the call center, come home, eat something cheap, sleep, repeat. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. Barely. It was a Tuesday afternoon when everything changed. Lisa had just gotten home from work, her feet aching from standing all day. She was thinking about whether she had enough money to order pizza or if she should just make ramen again. The buzzer rang. "Delivery for Lisa Chen," a voice said through the intercom. Lisa frowned. She hadn't ordered anything. "I think you have the wrong address. Is this apartment 3B? Lisa Chen? Yes, but then I have the right address. Can you come down? I need a signature." Confused, Lisa grabbed her keys and went downstairs. A man in a professional courier uniform stood there holding a thick manila envelope. He had her sign for it on his electronic pad, then handed it over. The envelope was heavy, expensive looking. Her name and address were printed on it in elegant letters. There was no return address. Back in her apartment, Lisa turned the envelope over in her hands. What could this be? She wasn't expecting anything. She didn't have the kind of life where mysterious packages showed up at her door. She opened it carefully. Inside was a letter, handwritten on thick cream-colored paper. The kind of paper that probably cost more than her grocery budget. And underneath the letter was something that made her hands start shaking. A check. A personal check made out to her name. For $50,000. Lisa had to read it 3 times before the number made sense. 50,000, with all those zeros. More money than she'd ever seen in her life. Her legs felt weak. She sat down hard on her old couch and started reading the letter. "Dear Lisa," it began. "You don't know me, but 3 weeks ago you saved my daughter's life." Lisa's heart started pounding. "The man from the train station," the letter continued. "My name is David Richardson. I'm the father of the little girl you helped at Central Station. I've spent the past 3 weeks trying to find you, and I finally did. I hope you don't mind that I tracked you down, but I needed to thank you properly." Lisa kept reading, her eyes moving faster across the page. "That night, when you gave us your ticket, you didn't just help us get home. You saved my daughter Rachel's life. She had just been released from the hospital after her 2nd round of chemotherapy for leukemia. She had an appointment the next morning for a critical treatment. If we had missed it, her doctor said it could have set back her recovery by months, maybe longer." The words blurred as tears filled Lisa's eyes. "I was at my lowest point that night. My wife passed away 2 years ago, and Rachel is all I have left. Watching her fight this disease has been the hardest thing I've ever experienced. I felt so helpless when that ticket agent said there were no seats. I thought I had failed my daughter when she needed me most. Then you appeared, like an angel. You gave up your ticket without hesitation, without asking for anything in return. You didn't know who we were. You didn't know how desperate our situation was. You just saw a father and his sick child and decided to help. I need you to know that Rachel's treatment went perfectly. She's doing so much better now. Her doctors are very optimistic about her recovery, and it's because of you. Because you made a choice that night that changed everything for us." Lisa was crying now, tears dropping onto the letter. "I know the check seems like a lot. I know you probably didn't help us expecting anything in return. But please accept it. Not as payment, because what you did is priceless. Accept it as a gift from a grateful father who wants to help you the way you helped his daughter. I did some research after I found your name. I learned that you work very hard, that you support your mother, that you're the kind of person who always puts others first. Let this money give you some breathing room. Pay off bills. Help your mother. Follow a dream you've been putting off. Whatever you need. I've included my phone number below. If you're willing, I would love for you to meet Rachel again. She talks about you all the time. She calls you the nice lady with the kind smile. She made me promise to find you so she could say thank you. Please call me. And please accept this gift. You gave us something precious that night. You gave us hope." The letter was signed simply, "With deepest gratitude, David Richardson." Lisa sat there for a long time just staring at the check and the letter. Her mind was racing. $50,000. She could pay off her credit cards. She could fix her mom's leaking roof. She could take some classes, maybe finally finish her degree. She could breathe, but it felt wrong somehow. She hadn't helped them for money. She'd helped them because it was the right thing to do. She picked up her phone and stared at the number written at the bottom of the letter. Should she call? What would she even say? Her phone rang suddenly, making her jump. It was her mom. Hi, sweetheart. Just checking in. How was work? Mom, Lisa said, her voice shaky. Something just happened. Something big. She told her mother everything. About the letter, about Rachel's treatment, about the check. $50,000? Her mom repeated, sounding as shocked as Lisa felt. Oh, honey. I don't know if I should accept it, Mom. It feels like too much. Her mother was quiet for a moment. Lisa, do you remember what you told me that night at the station? You said that little girl needed to get home. You said it was the right thing to do. Yes. Well, maybe this man needs to do the right thing too. Maybe he needs to thank you this way. Maybe accepting his gift with grace is just as important as the gift you gave him. Lisa hadn't thought about it like that. And besides, her mom continued, her voice getting softer, you've been struggling for so long, baby. Working so hard. When was the last time something good happened to you? When was the last time you caught a break? Lisa couldn't remember. Call him, her mom said. Thank him. Meet his daughter. And accept the gift. Not because you need to, but because sometimes it's okay to let people help you too. After they hung up, Lisa looked at the number again. Her hand was still shaking as she dialed. The phone rang twice before a man answered. Hello? Mr. Richardson? This is Lisa Chen. I got your letter. There was a sharp intake of breath. Lisa, thank you for calling. I wasn't sure you would. I wanted to thank you, Lisa said, for the letter, for telling me about Rachel. I've been wondering how she was doing. She's doing wonderfully. Better every day. His voice was warm, genuine. Would you be willing to meet us? Rachel has been asking about you constantly. Lisa felt her heart swell. I'd love that. How about this Saturday? We could meet for lunch. My treat, of course. Okay, Lisa said. Saturday sounds perfect. As she hung up, Lisa looked around her small apartment. Everything looked the same, but somehow different. The check sat on her coffee table, still hard to believe. She thought about that night at the train station. How cold she'd been. How hungry. How uncertain. She'd given up her ticket because a little girl needed to go home. And now that little girl was getting better. That father had his daughter back, and Lisa had just gotten a second chance at life. Saturday morning, Lisa changed her outfit 3 times before settling on a simple blue dress. Nothing too fancy, but nicer than what she usually wore. She was nervous in a way she hadn't been in years. Her hands kept fidgeting with her purse strap as she rode the bus downtown. The restaurant David had chosen was in a part of the city Lisa rarely visited. The kind of place with cloth napkins and a doorman. She almost turned around twice, feeling out of place, but the thought of Rachel kept her moving forward. David was already there, sitting at a corner table, and next to him was Rachel, looking completely different from that exhausted little girl at the train station. She had color in her cheeks now. Her eyes were bright and alert. A pink headband held back her short hair, which was growing back in soft waves. The moment Rachel saw Lisa, her whole face lit up. She jumped off her chair and ran across the restaurant, her father calling after her to slow down. You came. You came. Rachel threw her arms around Lisa's waist, hugging her tight. Lisa felt tears prick her eyes as she hugged the little girl back. Of course I came. I wanted to see how you were doing. I'm so much better. Look. Rachel spun around, showing off. I can run now without getting tired. And my hair is growing back. Daddy says it might be curly like Mommy's was. David had caught up to them, slightly out of breath. Rachel, give Lisa some space to breathe. But he was smiling as he extended his hand to Lisa. It's good to see you again. Really good. Up close, David looked different too. Less tired. Less desperate. He was wearing casual clothes, jeans, and a button-down shirt. And there was lightness to him that hadn't been there before. They sat down at the table, Rachel positioning herself right next to Lisa, chattering away about everything. Her doctors, her favorite cartoons, her teddy bear Mr. Buttons who went everywhere with her. Mr. Buttons was with us that night, Rachel said, her voice getting quieter, when we couldn't get on the train. I was so scared. I told Daddy I just wanted to go home and sleep in my own bed. I remember, Lisa said softly. Rachel reached over and took Lisa's hand. Her small fingers were warm. And then you gave us your ticket. Daddy cried in the train. He thought I didn't see, but I did. David looked down at his plate, a bit embarrassed. I was overwhelmed. It had been such a hard few weeks, and then this stranger just appeared and helped us when she had no reason to. You had every reason to get on that train yourself, he continued, looking at Lisa. I found out about your mother, about how you'd been saving for that trip, about the job you work that doesn't pay nearly enough. And you still gave it all up for us. Lisa felt uncomfortable with the attention. Anyone would have done the same thing. No, David said firmly. They wouldn't have. I saw at least 20 people walk past us that night. Everyone was too busy, too focused on their own problems. You were the only one who stopped, the only one who cared. A waiter came by to take their orders. Rachel insisted on getting pancakes with extra whipped cream, her eyes sparkling with excitement. It made Lisa happy to see her so full of life. After the waiter left, David leaned forward. I want to talk to you about something. About the check. I deposited it, Lisa said quickly. I paid off my credit cards and my mom's medical bills. I can't thank you enough. Good, that's good. David nodded. But there's something else. Something I've been thinking about since I found you. He pulled out his phone and showed her a photo of a large modern building. This is Richardson Industries. My company. We develop software for healthcare systems. Help hospitals manage patient data more efficiently. Lisa had heard of Richardson Industries. Everyone had. They were one of the biggest tech companies in the state. I started this company 10 years ago, David continued. After my wife died, after Rachel got sick, I realized how broken our healthcare system is. How hard it is for families to navigate. I wanted to make a difference. Rachel was busy coloring on the kids' menu the waiter had brought, humming to herself. We've been successful, David said, more successful than I ever imagined. But something's been missing. We make money, we create good products, but we're not really helping people the way I wanted to. He put his phone away and looked directly at Lisa. That night at the station, you showed me what real compassion looks like. You reminded me why I started this company in the first place, and I want you to help me get back to that. Lisa didn't understand. Help you how? I want to create a new division in my company. Something focused on giving back. Programs for families dealing with medical crises. Scholarships for people who can't afford education. Emergency funds for people in situations like yours was that night. Lisa's eyes widened. That sounds amazing. I want you to run it. The words hung in the air. Lisa was sure she'd heard wrong. What? I want you to lead this initiative. I need someone who understands what it's like to struggle, someone who has genuine compassion, not just someone checking boxes on a corporate social responsibility form. But I don't have any experience with that kind of work. I answer phones at a call center. I barely finished community college. David smiled. You have something more important than a fancy degree. You have heart. You have integrity. You proved that at the station. Everything else we can teach you. Lisa's mind was spinning. I don't know what to say. Say you'll think about it. Come visit the office next week. Meet the team. See what we do. Then decide. Their food arrived and Rachel dug into her pancakes with enthusiasm. She got whipped cream on her nose and Lisa laughed, helping her wipe it off. As they ate, David told Lisa more about the company, about his vision for this new program. He wanted to help at least 1,000 families in the first year. Create scholarships for 50 students. Build a network of support for people in crisis. I've already talked to my board about it, David said. They love the idea. They want to meet you. After lunch, they walked to a nearby park. Rachel ran ahead, chasing pigeons, laughing when they flew away. She was so different from the pale, exhausted child Lisa had met 3 weeks ago. She's doing really well, Lisa said, watching her. The doctors say she has a 90% chance of full recovery now. After that treatment we almost missed, everything turned around. David's voice was thick with emotion. You gave her that chance. You gave me my daughter back. They sat on a bench while Rachel played on the swings. The autumn sun was warm, and leaves were falling from the trees in shades of gold and red. I know this is a lot to take in, David said. The money, the job offer, all of it. Take your time deciding. Lisa watched Rachel swing higher and higher, her laughter carrying on the breeze. A month ago, Lisa had been struggling to pay rent, working a dead-end job, unable to see a way forward. She'd given away her train ticket on impulse, not thinking about the consequences. And now everything had changed. Can I ask you something? Lisa said. Anything. Why me? Really? You could hire someone with experience, someone with all the right qualifications. David was quiet for a moment watching his daughter play. Because that night, when you gave us your ticket, you didn't see a CEO or a company or an opportunity. You saw a scared father and a sick child who needed help. That's the kind of person I want leading this program. Someone who sees people, not resumes. Rachel called out from the swings. Daddy, Lisa, watch me. Watch how high I can go. They both waved at her, smiling. I'll visit the office, Lisa said finally. I'll meet your team, but I can't promise anything. That's all I'm asking. David extended his hand and Lisa shook it. As Lisa rode the bus home that evening, she thought about everything that had happened. The letter, the check, the job offer. It all felt surreal, like something from a movie. But Rachel's hug had been real. The gratitude in David's eyes had been real. The chance to help other people, to make a real difference, that was real too. Her phone buzzed. A text from David. Rachel wanted me to send this. It was a photo of Rachel holding Mr. Buttons, both of them waving at the camera. The message below read, "Thank you for being my angel." Lisa smiled, saving the photo. Maybe this was just the beginning of something extraordinary. 1 year later, Lisa stood backstage at the Grand Hotel ballroom, her hands shaking slightly as she smoothed down her dress. She could hear the murmur of hundreds of voices on the other side of the curtain. In just a few minutes, she would walk out there and speak to all those people. A hand touched her shoulder. It was David, looking calm and confident in his suit. You're going to do great. Just speak from the heart like you always do. There are so many people out there, Lisa whispered. They're here because of you, because of what you've built, what she'd built. Even after a year, it still felt surreal. Lisa had visited Richardson Industries that next week, just like she'd promised. She'd met the team, toured the offices, and heard David's vision for the Hope Initiative. By the end of the day, she knew she had to take the job. It wasn't just an opportunity. It was a calling. The first few months had been overwhelming. Lisa had gone from answering phones to leading a team of 12 people. She'd made mistakes, lots of them. But David had been patient and her team had been supportive. They taught her about budgets and strategic planning and board presentations. She taught them about empathy and really listening to people's stories. The Hope Initiative had started small. They'd helped 20 families in the first month, covering emergency medical expenses, rent payments, and transportation costs. Lisa personally reviewed every application, making sure real people were getting real help. Then word spread. News outlets picked up the story about the tech CEO who'd created a program inspired by a stranger's kindness. Applications flooded in. They helped a single mom whose car broke down on the way to her daughter's surgery. They paid for a grandmother's cancer treatments when insurance fell through. They gave a homeless veteran the money he needed to get back on his feet. Each story reminded Lisa of that night at the train station, of how one moment of kindness could change everything. By month 6, they'd helped 300 families. By month 9, they'd created a scholarship program that sent 40 students to college. By the end of the year, they'd launched a mentorship program connecting successful professionals with young people from struggling backgrounds. Now they were holding their first annual gala to celebrate the initiative's 1-year anniversary and raise money to expand the program. 5 minutes. Miss Chen, a production assistant, said. Lisa took a deep breath. She thought about calling her mom, who was in the audience somewhere, probably in the 3rd row where Lisa had saved her a seat. Her mom's health had improved so much over the past year. No more worrying about medical bills or whether she could afford her medications. Lisa had made sure of that. Ready? David asked. Lisa nodded. Ready? The lights dimmed in the ballroom. A video began playing on the large screens, showing clips from the past year. Families they'd helped, testimonials from scholarship recipients, footage of the programs they'd launched. Lisa watched from the wings, her eyes getting misty as she saw the impact they'd made. Then David walked onto the stage to thunderous applause. He looked different from the desperate father she'd met at the train station. Happy, at peace. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. His voice was strong and clear. A year ago, I was at the lowest point of my life. My daughter was sick. I was exhausted. I felt helpless. And then a stranger gave me a gift that changed everything. He told the story of that night, the sold-out train, the desperate search for tickets, the woman who appeared and gave up her seat without hesitation. That woman showed me what true compassion looks like. She reminded me that sometimes the most important thing we can do is help someone else, even when it costs us something, especially when it costs us something. Lisa felt tears on her cheeks. I'm proud to introduce you to that woman, the person who saved my daughter's life and inspired this entire initiative, the director of the Hope Initiative and one of the most remarkable people I've ever known. Lisa Chen. The applause was deafening as Lisa walked onto the stage. The lights were bright and she couldn't see the faces in the crowd, but she could feel their warmth. She stood at the podium, looking out at the sea of people. Her prepared speech was in her pocket, but suddenly she didn't need it. I'm not used to being on this side of things, she began, her voice soft but steady. A year ago, I was struggling to pay rent. I was working a job that barely covered my bills. I was just trying to survive day by day. She paused, gathering her thoughts. That night at the train station, I didn't give away my ticket because I'm special, or because I'm some kind of hero. I did it because I saw a little girl who was hurting, and I couldn't walk away. It was that simple. But what happened after that night taught me something important. It taught me that kindness creates ripples, that one small act can spread and grow into something bigger than you ever imagined. Lisa gestured to the screens behind her, where photos from the past year were now scrolling. These families, these students, these lives we've touched this year, they're proof of that. Every person we've helped has their own story, their own struggles, their own moment where they needed someone to see them and care. Her voice grew stronger. We've helped over 800 families this year. We've sent 52 students to college. We've created job training programs and mental health resources and emergency funds. But the most important thing we've done is show people that they're not alone. The audience was completely silent now, hanging on every word. I learned something else this year too. I learned that accepting help is just as important as giving it. When David found me and offered me that check, I almost didn't take it. It felt wrong somehow. But my mom told me that sometimes you have to let people help you, that accepting kindness with grace is its own kind of gift. Lisa looked down at the front row and found her mom's face. She was crying, smiling proudly. So to everyone here tonight, whether you're donating money or volunteering your time or just spreading the word about what we do, thank you. You're part of this ripple. You're helping us reach more people, change more lives, create more moments of hope. She took a deep breath. And to David and Rachel, thank you for giving me this chance. Thank you for seeing something in me that I didn't see in myself. Thank you for letting me be part of something that matters. The applause started again, building until the entire room was on their feet. Lisa stepped back from the podium, overwhelmed by the response. Then something unexpected happened. Rachel walked onto the stage, holding Mr. Buttons in one hand and a small trophy in the other. She looked healthy and strong, her hair now shoulder-length and bouncing in curls. David followed her, smiling. Rachel walked up to Lisa and held out the trophy. "We made this for you," Rachel said, her voice clear. "It says the Hope Award because you gave us hope. And now you give hope to lots of people." Lisa knelt down to Rachel's level, taking the trophy with shaking hands. It was a simple thing, probably ordered online, but it meant everything. "Thank you, Rachel. This is the best award I've ever gotten." Rachel hugged her tight, whispering in her ear, "You're still my angel." Later that night, after the gala had ended and the guests had gone home, Lisa sat in the empty ballroom with David, Rachel, and her mom. Rachel had fallen asleep on a chair, Mr. Buttons tucked under her chin. The trophy sat on the table in front of Lisa. "I still can't believe this is real sometimes," Lisa said quietly. Her mom reached over and squeezed her hand. "Believe it, sweetheart. You earned this." David looked at his sleeping daughter, his expression soft. "You know, people keep asking me how I came up with the idea for the Hope Initiative. They want to know about the business strategy, the funding model, all of that. But the truth is much simpler." He looked at Lisa. "I just asked myself, what would Lisa do? How would she help? What would matter to her? And every time I asked those questions, the answer became clear. We're expanding next year," he continued, "opening offices in 3 more cities. We'll be able to help thousands more families. And it's all because you gave up a train ticket one cold December night." Lisa thought about that night. How scared she'd been, how uncertain, how she'd second-guessed her decision as she sat on that cold station floor. If she could go back and talk to that version of herself, what would she say? That everything was going to work out? That one choice would change her entire life? No. She'd tell herself that it didn't matter what came next, that helping Rachel and David had been worth it regardless of what happened after. That kindness doesn't need a reward to be valuable. The fact that it had led to all of this, to the job, and the program and the lives they'd changed, that was just a beautiful bonus. Lisa looked at her mom, healthy and happy. At David, no longer carrying the weight of desperation. At Rachel, sleeping peacefully, full of life and promise. At the trophy that represented so much more than a piece of metal. You know what the best part is? Lisa said softly. What's that? David asked. Somewhere out there, someone we helped this year is going to help someone else. And that person will help another person. And the ripple will keep going long after we're gone. That one moment at the train station, it's never really going to end. Her mom smiled. That's the thing about kindness, honey. It's the gift that keeps on giving. As they sat together in the quiet ballroom, Lisa felt a peace she'd never known before. She'd found her purpose. She'd found her family, not by blood, but by something stronger. She'd found proof that good things really do happen to good people, all because she'd given up her ticket.